Hey friends, how are you guys doing today? I hope you're doing so well. Welcome back to another brands video. Today we're talking about some bolo brands, some brands that you should be on the lookout for. And these brands that I have today, we have about 50 of them, and all of them, almost all of them, will sell for around $100, if not more, which is insane. So I'm helping you guys by putting up a picture of the tag on the screen, what the actual brand tag looks like, so that hopefully when you're out thrifting, if you're looking for yourself, if you're looking to resell, you'll at least have some sort of memory to draw from to recognize these brands out in the wild. These aren't necessarily brands that you're going to find every single time that you go out thrifting, but the point of a bolo brand list is so that you are recognizing those brands when you do happen to find them. I have some other brands lists that are like bread and butter brands, so many different things that I've covered over the years. So if you're looking for things that will sell for a little bit less money but more frequently, go check out some of those videos. But today's video is a really good one. A lot of great brands on this list. So let's jump into these 50 brands. They are amazing and absolutely shocking how much some of these will sell for if you can find them. So another feature of today's brands list is you get kind of a 2-for-1. These are just 50 amazing brands, but they also, every single one of these is sold at Tuckernuck. And so I know not many people, not everybody knows Tuckernuck, but it's very similar to like a Revolve or Anthropologie situation where it's a brand. They carry their own clothing, but they also carry lots of other brands' clothing. And so it's a very curated, well-tailored store, and it does really well. Like just the brand Tuckernuck will do well. We'll talk about them in a second, but literally so many of these brands that are sold at Tuckernuck do amazing. So I know I got a comment suggesting this video, and I was actually already working on this. So this is crazy, and I think really well timed. So here we go. The first brand on this list is Tuckernuck. So Tuckernuck, like I was talking about, they have their own in-house brand, but then they also sell other brands. But I have sold quite a few Tuckernuck items that are just the brand Tuckernuck for really good money. Like I'm talking like 50, 100 bucks. So not one to sleep on. If you find it, it is a really good brand. And then everything else we're gonna talk about today are brands that are sold there. So you will get to know some of these brands on the list by the end of this video. So that's the first one. But number 2 is Hyacinth House. This is literally, I've never heard of this, but this brand was all over Tuckernuck. I did some looking into it, some little research, and I was amazed at almost everything. I'm looking at specifically, I used dresses kind of as my go-to for research on these brands. And so when I talk about them, I'm usually talking about like dress as what I'm coming from, because I feel like that's a really good indicator of how expensive these pieces are. But Hyacinth House, if you find a piece from them, it can sell for $75 or more. So I would say that's a win. That's a bolo in my book. If I found Hyacinth House, I would be very pleased that I did. So that's amazing. Number 3 is a brand I've talked about before, but is also carried there. It's Hill House. We got 2 houses back to back, but Hill House is another amazing brand. I would say $50 or more for a lot of these pieces. A lot of them are dresses. The nap dress is super popular from this brand, but Hill House, really cute brand. I've talked about it many times. It's similar to Doen as well. I don't have Doen on the list, but Doen is amazing too. Hill House, great brand to know. Number 4 is a brand I recently found that was sold at Tuckernuck, and that is Mirth. I had a Mirth dress that I thrifted the other day at Goodwill for $7.99, and I put it on eBay and sold it within one day for $115. So again, around $100-ish for a Mirth piece, but these are also like hand block patterned in India, I believe. So really cool concept. And so they have a little bit of like inconsistency between pieces, which I think is actually really nice, that it's not just like you own something that everybody else in the world owns. So I think that that brand is really cool. Number 5 is, I could be mispronouncing this, please give me grace in the comments, is Oliphant. I hadn't heard of this, but I've never really looked into it until this video, and by golly, really good brand to know. Oliphant, a lot of geometric, more like Aztec almost inspired pieces. They don't look super assuming, but almost every time they'll sell for around $100, which I think is crazy. But one to keep on your radar, Oliphant. Okay. Before we get into number 6, I do want to take a second to thank the sponsor of today's video, which is Vendu. Vendu has been a constant supporter of my channel, and I really do love working with them, and I use their product every single day of my life. I'm a full-time reseller. I'm always listing. I'm always sending out packages. There's always something going on in the reselling world for me, and they literally make my life so much easier. So I use them as a cross-listing software. I will use them and list directly onto Poshmark, Mercari, eBay, and Depop. Those are my 4 kind of go-to sites right now that I'm just listing on constantly. And then once I sell something on one of those different marketplaces, Vendoo will automatically delist the item from the other marketplaces. Takes it down so that way I don't sell something twice, which is a huge concern, especially on eBay. I love that feature. They've also rolled out recently sharing features where they will share your closets for you, not just on Poshmark, but on Mercari, Depop. I've been using that as well. That's been super helpful. It whites out the backgrounds of your pictures for you. There's so many great things about Vendoo, and I really feel like it's an affordable price. And as always, when you use my link, you get, I think, 20% off of your first month, which is an amazing deal. So if you have been thinking about trying out a cross-listing software, I really do recommend Vendoo. I use them. I don't just say it, I do use them every day. The link is down in the description. So thank you again to Vendoo for working with me on today's video. But now let's jump into number 6. Number 6 is Love the Label. Never heard of it, never seen it before, but ruffled kind of cutesy dresses, and a lot of them were selling for $75 and more. So Love the Label is definitely one that I will remember now because $75 is awesome. Number 7 is Kivari. Midi to maxi length dresses will do the best from this brand, but I would say right around $50 and up. Like that's pretty good just for anything I'm looking for. If I can find something that sells for $50 or more, I'm always excited. And so Kivari is one that I would keep on my radar. Another brand that I didn't realize was sold at Tuckernuck is C New York. And C New York, I would say that their older pieces, I would stay away from those. I definitely would focus more on their newer or more couture looking pieces. And some of their newer pieces are just so darling, so cute, it's not even funny. But a lot of the pieces will sell for around $100, which I think is awesome. $100 dress, amazing. C New York, definitely one to be on the lookout for. Then we have The Great, and The Great is a brand I've talked about many times, and they make more than just dresses. They make tops and bottoms. They're a nice all-around brand where anything you find from them is probably going to do pretty well. And I would say $75-ish, so right around $75 depending on what piece you find, but sometimes even more than that. It will just depend on what you find, but The Great is a good brand to be on the lookout for. Then we have Kaya de Cruz, one of the two. These are a lot of like large graphic prints for this brand and lots of skirts and swimsuits. Like they had a great swimwear line and all of the swim was selling for good money as well. So a lot of these pieces, if you find anything, will sell for around $100 or more. So amazing brand to know. Even swimsuits, if you have a full swimsuit, a lot of those were selling for around $100 too, which I think is awesome. Number 11 is Ola Johnson, a classic brand. Ola Johnson, if I would ever find it, I'd be so excited. A lot of the pieces will resell for $100 or more. It depends on what you find. But again, another one I didn't realize was sold at Tuckernuck, and hopefully that gives you another reason to pick it up. Next up, Agua by Agua Bendita. Agua Bendita, great brand. They have crazy beautiful dresses, really inspired, like beautiful pieces, usually brightly colored, and they'll sell for $100 or more. 13 is Saloni, which I actually have found myself before. Saloni has been on my radar. It's sold at Revolve as well, but this brand will sell for around $100. A very expensive brand sold at Tuckernuck, sold at Revolve, places like that. And honestly, really cute. So I like that one. Number 14 is Zimmerman. If you have not heard me talk about Zimmerman, then I don't know where you've been because Zimmerman is such a good brand. I've never found it, but I will someday. I know I will. Zimmerman, super expensive, hundreds of dollars retail, so very expensive, and then it'll resell for over $100. It depends on what you find, of course, but definitely like in the 100 to hundreds range for Zimmerman. The number 15 is Staud, which is another brand that I have had on my radar and just would be exciting to find no matter what. And I do feel like a lot of the Staud pieces are more like kind of neutral, kind of quiet luxury looking, but these again, around $100 for these pieces. Number 16 is Ganni, the newer the better, and you want to find pieces that were not like mass marketed, so things that are a little bit more unique, a little bit more couture looking is great, and those will resell again $100 or more. 17 is Veronica Beard, another amazing brand that I've talked about quite a few times, but it's always worth repeating how great it is. I've sold jeans from Veronica Beard, dresses, skirts. I've sold quite a few things from this brand, and every single time each piece has done really well, like sold for over $100. And I love that brand. Number 18 is Pomander Place. Pomander Place is one of the brands that I would say is probably a little bit lower than some of the other ones. And I also feel like this might be an in-house brand from Tuckernuck as well. But Pomander Place will sell for $50 or more. It just really depends on the piece you find. Some pieces, like if you find a top that's like less substantial, it might be like $35, but I still would keep my eyes out for this brand. Number 19 is Borgo de Nord. And a lot of these pieces were selling for over $100 as well. Great brand to know. Followed by Cult Gaia. Cult Gaia I've talked about quite a few times. I just found for the first time my first Cult Gaia piece, a pair of shoes at my local Goodwill. I think they were like $7. They're amazing. Very pleased that I found those. But Cult Gaia, depending on what you find, their shoes and purses will do probably the best. But some of these dresses and some of these pieces of clothing, especially if they're newer, especially if they look more unique, more couture, will still do really well. Next up is Erdem, which I had, again, never heard of this brand. This is how I thought that I knew a lot of brands, and I do, but holy cow, there's always something new to learn in reselling. You have to be constantly learning if you want to be doing well in this business. So Erdem, E-R-D-E-M, sells for $100 or more. Like, those pieces are crazy. Erdem, I was really impressed with this brand, really great high comps. Followed by Simkai. So Jonathan Simkai is the full name for this, and those pieces do well, but Simkai even itself will do well. And I was seeing a lot of like $65 and up kind of prices sold for this brand. Now, this next one is crazy. This one sells for hundreds of dollars, and I had never heard of it. And you would think that only like designer pieces can sell for hundreds of dollars. No. If you find the right brand, they can also sell for hundreds of dollars. This one, Leo Lynn, never had heard of it. Hundreds of dollars if you find a piece and sell it. That's amazing. And it's the pieces are so cool. So that's one to be on the lookout for. This one I think I've talked about maybe once before, but it's La Double J, another brand that will sell for hundreds of dollars if you can find it and if you can recognize it. So that's the other part of this, right? Like, I'm showing you these things so that you can recognize them out in the thrift store. La Double J, very cool. And again, hundreds of dollars, that's an amazing bolo. Then we have Alame, which I have talked about before, but Alame, another one that sold at Tuckernuck, but a lot of the pieces were selling for like $70 to $100, sometimes more, depending on what you find. Great brand to know. Then we have Loretta Caponi, number 26. Again, one of those that will sell for hundreds of dollars, like multiple hundreds of dollars. A lot of these pieces retail for like almost $1,000, sometimes more, which is crazy. So I thought I'd include some of these really high price ones too, so you can at least have heard of them. Loretta Caponi, interesting. Next one is Destree. Never had heard of this either. D-E-S-T-R-E-E, Destree. Again, pieces will resell for hundreds of dollars. And these are things that not many people have heard of. Like, who's heard of Destree? But a great brand to know. Number 28 is Rosie Asulin. Really beautiful pieces. I was obsessed. Very colorful, very beautiful pieces. And again, hundreds of dollars if you can find a piece. These are, again, gonna be like a once-in-a-lifetime find, but if you can recognize it, you'll make a lot of money. Rosie Asulin. Next up is Cara, but the basics of this brand is that it's very maximalist. Everything will always be very maximalist, and it will resell for like around $100. So sometimes a little bit more, sometimes right around there, but $100 brand, again, is a win in Bekah's book. Next up, Gol Hergel. That sounds like I just like spat something out. Gol Hergel sells for around $100 and more. Like, it goes for more than that, which is, again, crazy. Some of these brands I feel like no one's ever heard of. Like, have you heard of Gol Hergel? Let me know in the comments I can't even say it. Let me know in the comments if you've heard of Gol Hergel. What a strange one. But $100 is $100, and I will be on the lookout for it. Number 31 is Coco Shop. Really interesting brand. I had not heard of that one either. Am I a broken record player? So many new brands, right? I hope this is giving you as much life as it's giving me. But Coco Shop should sell for around $100. And I also, while looking for Coco Shop, found out that this random Coco Disney dress sells for like $100 too. as I was looking. Not anything to do with Coco Shop, but another great comp while I was in the weeds. Coco, who knew? 32, Amelia Wickstead. Never heard of this brand. Resells for hundreds of dollars, like multiple hundreds of dollars, like $400 for a dress. Insane. Amelia Wickstead. Amelia with an E. Interesting, right? Okay. Another $100 brand, Juliet Dunn. Never heard of it, right? Juliet Dunn. Juliet Dunn, 1 T in Juliet, 2 N's in Dunn, around $100 for pieces from this brand. This next brand is so crazy, it's not even funny. 34, Alex of Bohemia. Resells for hundreds of dollars. Never had I ever heard of it. It doesn't even look super like assuming. It definitely feels like it would just kind of blend in if you were looking through a rack. But Alex of Bohemia, like multiple hundreds of dollars. Insane. Next up, Celia B. I've talked about this brand before. They make really cute and flirty and bright different dresses, different clothing, and it will resell for around $100 plus, so sometimes more than that even. Another really beautiful brand. I've heard, I think even Mogi Beth, I feel like talked about Celia B. It's definitely a brand I'm always looking for, and now even more so, now that I know it's just like widespread, people are looking for it. Another $100 and up brand is Self Portrait. This is another brand that's sold at Revolve as well as Tuckernuck and does really well. So Self Portrait, they have amazing pieces. A lot of them are more like, I would say more like tailored to the body and are really beautiful, but like kind of like couture tailored pieces. Very interesting, would be good for like an event. Then we have Anna Kate, and Kate is spelled with a C. Anna Kate, a lot of the pieces were reselling for $50 and more. So I would say finding it $50, easy, and then sometimes more depending on what piece you find. That's a great brand. Next up, 38 is De Loretta, another $100 and up brand. I feel like I am just like throwing gold your way and hoping you take it. Like, hopefully this is helping you guys. If it is, I would so greatly appreciate it if you would hit that subscribe button and the like button, because these brands videos take so much time, so much research, so much editing. There's just a lot that goes into it. So I would really appreciate that if you enjoy them and want to see more like them. But yeah, De Loretta, $100 and more. Number 39, Farm Rio, classic brand, sold at Anthropologie, sold at Revolve, sold on its own, sold at Tuckernuck, lots of places. Farm Rio does really well. Super bright, tropical pieces. A lot of them will resell for $50. A lot of them more than that, but if you find like a top, can do like even $50. Next up is Banjanin, and this brand has a very unique tag, which I feel like helps it to stand out a little bit more. But this brand, again, around $100. If you can find it, great. That's a good one to find. Number 41, Hunter Bell. The newer pieces will do better. The ones that are like, they look like you wore them in the 2000s, they sell for like $20. But if you find anything that's a newer piece and more like in the moment, they will resell for over $100. So another great brand to know, but you want to be selective when you find any of these brands. Make sure that the style is current, because that will also detail how much you're going to make from the piece for sure. Next up, Pink City Prince. What in the world? What a name. Never heard of it. Pink City Prince, $75 and more, a great brand to find. But again, Pink City Prince would have flown right under my radar. Then we have Rose Garden. But, oh, now that I say it out loud, that makes more sense. Rose Garden, okay. But it's R-O''S, Rose, possessive garden. A lot of the pieces were reselling for $50 or more. So another great, I would be happy with $50 on anything. Great brand to know, sold at Tuckernuck. 44, Ciao Lucia, beautiful name, beautiful pieces, around $100 if you find anything with that tag on it. This one, really interesting. Fanmon, I think, Fanmon, Fanmon. Around $100 and more for these pieces, really beautiful. I love the sleek lines of this collection. I thought this was a great brand to include. Beautiful, beautiful pieces, but also something I'd never heard of. So I wanted to get more eyes on it, more people to know what is going on with it. Number 46 is Carolina K. And again, another $75 and more brand. So Carolina K, not Carolina Herrera, but that's a good one too, but Carolina K. Then we have Emporio Serenus. Again, these brands' names Very unique, loving that for us. But Emporio Serenus sells for $100 or more. A great brand to know. Again, fly under the radar. Who knows what that brand is? Emporio Serenus, never heard of it. Number 48 is Posse, another brand that should sell for $100 or more. Posse. Hadn't heard of it, but again, all of these brands are found on Tuckernuck, and I was learning so much from doing this research. Next, 49, Cleobella, around $50 and more for a piece from this brand. And Cleobella makes dresses. They also have other things from them as well, like tops, bottoms, you know, all of the things, but around 50 bucks, depending on what you find. But of course, look out for those styles. And then number 50 is Alexis. Alexis, the bane of my existence, not because of anything really that it did, but because this is the brand that inspired all of my brands list videos, because I found an Alexis dress in the bins once, but it was early on in my reselling career. I couldn't read the tag. I didn't know what it said, and I threw it back. And that is what has made this whole series possible, is that I want people to get eyes on tags. They know what they are. They recognize them, at least have something to pull from when you're out thrifting. So that way you don't do what I've done and thrown things back, miss something in the thrift store because you've only seen it one time and you didn't know it was going to be actually really good. That's how I feel about that. I passed on a Miu Miu dress once. I just didn't know. So hopefully this is helping you guys to recognize more brands, recognize more things while thrifting, recognize quality, just anything that helps you. I'm so willing to give. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed all these brands. Let me know if you would want to add any brand to the list in the comment section. And also, if you had heard of any of these, let me know, because some of these are so out there that I am confident that you will not know every single brand on this list. And thank you again to Vendu for sponsoring today's video, for working with me, and for just being a great partner for this platform that I have. If you guys are thinking about using a cross-listing software, I would highly recommend Vendu, and you'll get 20% off your first month. So follow that link in the description box. But I hope you guys are having an amazing day. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. And until the next video, bye.